The roar of the crowd was a physical thing, a wave of sound that washed over me, vibrated through my bones. 90,000 voices screaming in unison for a goal that had just rocked the stadium. I'm Naomi, and I'm not even a football fan. My boyfriend Leo is the die-hard. He'd practically dragged me here to Barcelona, insisting I couldn't leave without experiencing a match at the legendary Camp Nou. I had to admit, the energy was electric. But as the halftime whistle blew and a sea of bodies began to move, that electricity started to feel like a current pulling me under. Leo grabbed my hand. Come on, let's beat the rush for the toilets. He was already weaving through the dense crowd, a man on a mission. I stumbled after him, my smaller frame struggling to keep up. We descended flight after flight of concrete stairs, the roar of the stadium dimming to a distant hum, replaced by the echoing chatter of thousands of fans. The air grew cooler, smelling of stale beer and hot dogs. He pointed down a long, starkly lit corridor. Should be down there. I'll grab us some drinks. Meet you back at the seats. I nodded, gave his hand a squeeze, and plunged into the tunnel. The corridor was surprisingly empty. The main flow of traffic must have gone a different way. It stretched on, a featureless grey tube under the massive stadium. The signs were all in Catalan, which I couldn't read. I just followed the little stick figure in a dress symbol, turning left, then right, into another, even quieter hallway. It felt like I was walking deeper into the guts of some giant concrete beast. Finally, I found the women's restroom, did my business, and stepped back out, feeling a little disoriented. I tried to retrace my steps. Was it left then right, or right then left? Every corridor looked identical. Grey walls, fluorescent lights, concrete floor. The distant hum of the crowd was gone now. All I could hear was the buzz of the lights and the faint rhythmic thumping of my own heart. A flicker of unease danced up my spine. This place was a labyrinth. I picked a direction and walked, my footsteps echoing unnervingly in the silence. The corridor ended in a solid metal door marked Private. Private? Okay, wrong way. I turned back, my pace quickening. A little bit of panic began to bubble in my chest. I felt like a mouse in a maze. I called out, "Hello, Leo." My voice sounded small, swallowed by the immense empty space. No answer. I took another turn, and then another. My sense of direction completely shot. The signs were no help. They all pointed to sections and gates I didn't recognize. The concrete walls seemed to press in on me. How could a place built for thousands of people feel so utterly desolate? That's when I heard it. A sound that wasn't the buzz of the lights or my own breathing. It was faint, at the very edge of my hearing. A soft scraping noise. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It was rhythmic, slow, like something heavy being dragged across the concrete floor. It was coming from further down the corridor I was in. A chill, entirely different from the cool air of the tunnels, traced its way down my arms. I froze, listening. Scrape, scrape. It stopped. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I should turn around, run the other way. But curiosity, that stupid fatal flaw of all horror movie characters, held me rooted to the spot. I crept forward, hugging the wall, my sneakers making no sound. I peered around the next corner. The corridor stretched on, empty. But the sound started again, closer this time. Scrape, scrape. It seemed to be coming from behind one of the many identical unmarked doors that lined the hall. I tiptoed closer to the door. It was heavy, industrial steel, with a small, grimy window set high in the center. The scraping was loud now. Right on the other side, a wave of metallic coppery smell hit me. The smell of old pipes, I told myself, all rust. But a deeper primal part of my brain screamed another word: blood. My hand was shaking as I reached up, straining on my toes to see through the little window. For a moment all I saw was darkness. Then my eyes adjusted. It was a storage room, filled with old cleaning supplies, broken seats, and discarded training equipment. In the center of the room, a single bare bulb hung from the ceiling, casting long, dancing shadows, and under that light was a man. He was old, dressed in a janitor's uniform, his back to me. He was hunched over something on the floor, and he was scraping. He was using a large, wide-bladed shovel, scraping something dark and thick from the concrete floor into a large plastic bin. A dark red, almost black liquid pooled around his boots. The coppery smell was overwhelming. My stomach lurched. He wasn't cleaning a spill. He was cleaning up. The man grunted with effort, and for a second he turned his head slightly. I saw his profile. His face was deeply lined, his expression grim, focused. But it was his eyes. Even in the dim light, they looked hollow, empty, soulless. I stumbled back from the door, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a scream. I had to get out, now. I turned and ran, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I didn't care which way I was going anymore. I just needed to find the crowd, the noise, the light. Corridors blurred past me, left, right. Another right. I burst through a set of double doors and was suddenly blinded by daylight. I was outside, in a deserted service area behind the stadium. Giant trucks were parked in silent rows. Freedom. But I wasn't alone. Leaning against one of the trucks, smoking a cigarette, was a security guard. Relief flooded through me. I ran towards him, tripping over my own feet. "Help me!" I gasped. I was lost, and I saw, down there, a man. There was so much. I couldn't form the words. The guard looked at me, his expression unreadable. He was young, with a bored look on his face. He took a long drag from his cigarette. "Lost, miss?" he said, his voice calm. "It's easy to do. Place is huge." "No, you don't understand," I insisted, my voice trembling. "There was a janitor, in a room. He was cleaning. It looked like blood, a lot of it." The guard just stared at me. He didn't look surprised. He didn't look concerned. He looked tired. He sighed, a plume of smoke curling from his lips. "Ah," he said softly, "you saw him." He dropped his cigarette and crushed it under his boot. "The cleaner," he said, making air quotes with his fingers, "comes with the territory." "What are you talking about?" I whispered, a cold dread seeping into my bones. The guard's eyes drifted up towards the massive structure of the stadium. "This place, it's more than a club. Mezkian Club, right? It's an institution. It demands passion. It demands loyalty. Sometimes, it demands sacrifice." He looked back at me, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Pity. Every big match, the passion gets too high for someone. A fight breaks out in the tunnels. A rivalry goes too far. An argument that ends badly. My blood ran cold. I understood. "And the club?" I breathed. "The club can't have scandals," he said flatly. "Bad for business. Bad for the image. So, things are handled. Quietly. Internally. The cleaner makes sure the stadium is spotless for the next game. No evidence. No police reports, no missing persons. Just another fan who had a bit too much to drink and wandered off. Forgotten. He gestured vaguely back towards the tunnels. You saw something you weren't supposed to see. My advice, forget it. Go find your boyfriend. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. And don't ever come back down here. He turned and walked away, leaving me standing alone in the shadow of the colossal stadium. The distant roar of the crowd started up again as the second half began, but it sounded different now. It wasn't a sound of joy anymore. It was the roar of a beast, hungry and eternal, a beast that occasionally needed to be fed. I found my way back to my seat. Leo was frantic, asking where I'd been. I just shook my head and told him I got lost. I sat through the rest of the match in a daze, surrounded by 90,000 cheering fans, and I had never felt so completely and utterly alone. I knew I was sitting in a tomb, and I was the only one who had seen the groundskeeper. Thanks for watching. If this story sent a chill down your spine, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the dark. Let me know in the comments what you think the Camp Nou secret is. Until next time, stay safe.